What's good in the hood, everybody? It's Toki Yatagami, and today we are back with another interview. This time around, we are hitting it with MattMoney!
I guess that's my cue to say something, isn't it?
Yup.
Yeah, well, hello, live studio audience that's totally there with the canned laughter and applause. Um,
Haha! Yes. Alright, Matt. So here's how we're going to run this interview. I'm going to ask you a couple serious sets of questions as normal. If you don't feel like answering one of them, let me know and we will move on to the next one.
all right.
Alright, first question. What inspired you to start the music that people know you for today?
The thing that inspired me, this is about to be a hell of a story for you. The thing that inspired me for, quote, the music people know me for today, that would be things like the Cyrex Week 1 soundtrack, part of the Doki OST that I did, things that got me interested. For the sake of the question, because I believe it's the most foundational sort of answer for you, I'll focus on the things that kind of inspired me to go make Cyrex, which was that this was right around the time when like base game week 3 dropped. A friend of mine in a friend group that I still roll with to this day introduced us to this cute little like Newgrounds rhythm game called Friday Night Funkin', and we were all interested, especially me and this other person in the group. We were friends at the time. This person by the name of Aether and we kept up with the very, very, very early mod scene. And in fact, me and Aether, we both watched Witty release blow up to the literally millions, I'm pretty sure, of downloads it has. And I remember Aether came to me and was like, Matt, we need to make a mod. And honestly, I agreed. I was right there with her. I was like, yeah, we need to make a mod. This was right around the time that Cyrex as a character literally just started existing. I think I had only gotten the very first commission of a drawing of him, a few weeks, maybe a month prior. So I already had, at the time, a background doing music for rhythm games, particularly Clone Hero, a sort of fan-made, as the name might suggest, clone of Guitar Hero. I still write music for that game to this day. I started doing that all the way back in 2019, so I had that background. Friend group introduced to FNF, was inspired by quite possibly the most classic FNF mod, watched it release.
Very interesting. What inspired you to start the Cyrex mod in the first place? Did your friends motivate you, or did you just have a passion to start it?
It was both. It was both. I mentioned, Aether came to me wanting to make a mod, and we decided it would be Cyrex, but that's not to say I didn't want to do it or was begrudging. I was just as enthusiastic as everybody else was. I can drop another name here. ATSG was involved, and they were passionate. Just it was all around. There was passion all around for doing Cyrex.
Hmm. For Doki Doki, what happened that made you want to join the mod in the first place? Did you get approached or did you offer?
Well, pardon me if I end up giving a slightly wrong answer, as it has been several years at this point, but if my memory serves me correct, Duster had approached me to make the penultimate song. It was just sort of phrased to me like that. The penultimate song for the whole mod, where the person would sing against Monica, like the real, actual Monica. Things like the name, Epiphany, that was already chosen out. And the general idea of the song being a hard gauntlet finale was already kind of there, but all the specifics and everything else I was approached about. And I was more than happy to do it. In fact, at the time, I hadn't even played DDLC and had been kind of meaning to eventually get around to it. So before I even started on Epiphany, I actually played through the entirety of DDLC front to back.
Hmm. What kind of music that you want to try to make outside of Friday Night Funkin'?
That's a pretty tough question overall, given that ever since, I really started getting serious about 2020 or so, I've always tried to be multi-genre, try to have many cards in the sleeve, many tools in the shed, pick whatever analogy suits you best. In particular right now, I have a big focus on, I'm working on a standalone metal album where it's me on guitar, bass, it's me on vocals, and using programmed drums. Outside of that, I've been trying to get into more Daria Core and Hyperflip inspired styles, but overall, there isn't a single kind of music that I seek to make outside of FNF.
Hmm. Do you still plan to stay in the FNF community, considering that you've been trying to branch out more from it?
Personally, I haven't considered myself to be a part of the FNF community for quite some time now. I'm obviously on the periphery, I'm in a couple of servers and I talk to plenty of people who have themselves involved in FNF. Hell, I'm sitting here in this interview right now after all, aren't I? But
Yep.
I definitely don't really have any plans to return. If people commission me, I'll give them music. Maybe once in a blue moon, if someone really has a killer idea, a friend approaches me with it, I'll bite. But overall, I do want to generally move on from FNF. It's no secret that I garnered a shitload of attention from it. I mean, Epiphany alone across all platforms has over 2 million plays. That's a lot and is something I am forever grateful for. Like, really, seriously. But I also know that if I keep trying to make more FNF stuff, all I'm going to do is just keep living in my own shadow. And while I do accept that the shadow of songs like Epiphany and things like the Cyrex soundtrack are probably going to be looming over me for more or less ever, I don't want to keep digging at FNF. I could get into other things like how I'm personally not happy with things like the state of the base game and its development or generally the state of the community, but I don't need to go into that right here unless you want me to.
I mean, it's your choice. Your choice if you wanna.
I don't know. I guess I'll speak my 2 cents. On base game development, I just think the devs are absolute horseshit at communicating. I think they're great people, and they're making a great thing at the end of the day, but I personally do not think they're doing a good enough job communicating. But my real gripe does come with the community, or honestly, even referring it to it as such feels pretty facetious, because if you ask me, there really ain't any community left. And look, I'm pretty biased, and I've got some pretty heavy rose tinted glasses here that I gotta try to reason through. But early FNF, pre August 2021, it felt like everybody knew each other, and it felt like one monolithic, united community. Everybody was playing everything. All these banger, mods that people nowadays look on as the classics. I mean, I mentioned Witty, Zardy, Tabby, and people. I'm pretty sure plenty of people look back on Cyrex fondly. All the mods from that era, people have so much nostalgia for. There's a reason for that. Besides the fact that people will just feel nostalgia for anything, but it's. I believe the community was at its best then, and after late 2021, the community started to fracture. I mean, look at I could start listing people talk about the Athos community and Athos remixes. I think that's still relevant. Or people talk
Yeah.
about EXE mods. Or people talk about this kind of mod or that kind of mod. You know, isn't that the
Hmm.
dead ringer giveaway that it's not really a community anymore? It's more like a loose collection of a bunch of communities that themselves don't seem to be that great. Although I have a very outside looking in perspective, so.
Hmm. That is a fair opinion, if I must say. When you made the Cyrix mod, do you ever think of trying to give it like a revival in a way?
uh, I am not one to do remasters too often. I am, and I'll state it right here. I'm more than fine if anybody wants to go make their own fan made Cyrix revivals. You got my full permission to do that. Anybody can do anything they want with any of the work I've put out. That is my stance. Do what you want. You don't even have to come ask me. Feel free to come show me, but you don't have to come ask me. But I'm not one to, like trying to go back and do remasters. I understand the temptation to, but I fall into the philosophy of I'd rather just make something new than try to fix up something that's old. Because I don't look back super fondly on, a lot of the Cyrix songs. I listen to them and I think, oh my God, these are terrible. There are so many things I would do differently, and I think I could write the songs so much better nowadays. But, they are products of their time. They are representative of where I was as a musician at that time. And whether I like it or not, truth is I don't mind either way, but whether I like it or not or don't mind, the songs in their state got popular. And, Cyrix had its heyday. There doesn't seem to be much a point in my mind of doing my own little revival. If fans want to do it because they have a love for the mod and they want to see it get some new flowers in the modern day, then sure, you're all the stronger for it. But me personally, I'm always trying to do something new.
Hmm. Is that what also motivate you with your motto of you saying next stop the future?
Oh, okay. You're about to get a long answer out of this one. Yeah, it is part of it. That little motto, as corny as it comes off to some people, let it be known that that's not just some cheesy motto I thought up in an afternoon because I needed something. That motto came from genuinely a somewhat dark time in my life back during the pandemic when things were really at the worst. Now, I'm not going to get too much into it, mostly because aspects of this involve things like my high school life and get very, very personal. But what I will say is that, look, I'm not an angel. I was not a particularly smart 15 or 16-year-old. I'm 21 nowadays for the context, turning 22 this September. And I mentioned Clone Hero before. Well, I started being active in that community around 2020 when I was about 15. And I made a lot of crap decisions. People talk about how there's all this drama and all these things because of all these children in the FNF community, and I wasn't any better at that age in the community that I was in. And eventually it all came to kind of a breaking point, and I disconnected myself off from that community, which, by the way, is when I met up with the kind of current group I roll with to this day. The same group that got interested in FNF when Week 3 dropped. The same group that Aether was a part of. But the motto, Next Stop the Future, came from a realization that despite the mistakes that I had made and the people that I had hurt, after I had made my apologies and made up with people the way I could, that, well, look, I can sit here sulking about it all day long and all night long, day in and day out, week in and week out. But the one really, really nice thing about time is that it always goes by. It's the one thing you can always count on. It's, funnily enough, the one thing that doesn't change itself. Time goes by, new things happen. So, yeah, my attitude about leaving old songs in the past and trying to write new definitely is part of it. It's obviously the less serious sort of aspect of it. But yeah, it ties into it. I try to have a forward-facing mentality. It doesn't matter what goes on now. Tomorrow's always a new day.
Has that motto been motivating you for the future stuff that you have planned for yourself in life?
I suppose it has. Yeah. I mean, to give some personal information on myself, I mean, I'm a college student. I'm 4 years deep into a 5-year degree program, so that's right on the horizon for me. Currently, I recently joined a band yesterday. 2 days ago. At this point, 2 days ago, I got to play live on a stage for the first time. So, you know, sometimes it stresses me. Sometimes I stress myself out. I'll admit, if anyone out there, and again, the hypothetical audience with the canned laughter, is like, wow, I want to be like that, just be warned, if you have this kind of mentality, it definitely can bring some stress into your life. Because, yeah, when you're always pushing yourself to do new things, to try new shit, and to always look forwards, it can be a little exhausting. But it does continue to motivate me regardless.
Do you ever feel like sharing that message to your friends to help them get motivated one day?
I share that message with anybody who will listen. The one thing that I want is for nobody to make the same mistakes that I have. Because I've made my mistakes. Again, I don't act like I'm perfect. I try not to, anyways. If anybody, whether I even know you really at all or not, just if I can help somebody, then you're damn right I'll try to help them. Keep them motivated, whatever it may be.
Well, I must say, that really must inspire you to be a good friend for them, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I care a lot about my friends. What can I say?
Over your time, have you thought there was like a prime moment in your life that felt like, whoa, this is probably one of the best things that I've ever done in my life?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Hell, 2 days ago, me on stage, I felt like, well, my name's MattMoney, isn't it? I felt like $1,000,000. I felt on that stage. I've long wanted to be able to rip out a cool guitar solo in front of people on a stage, part of a band. That felt like one of the best days of my life. But keeping it FNF focused. When I got that offer from Universal Music Group, the subdivision UNXT, when I saw that email, I was on a vacation with my mother. We were at some hotel. And I just checked my laptop and checked my email and saw that offer. That felt crazy. despite all the frustration with them not replying back, but getting that deal felt amazing. Seeing Cyrix blow up to the monumental magnitude that it did, that, you know, this is gonna get maybe a little sidetracked, but you know, I'm not gonna. Some people who are, you know, quote unquote famous, right, or have things that are quote unquote famous will tell you how much fame sucks. And yeah, fame can suck sometimes. There's absolutely drawbacks to it, but I'm definitely not gonna pretend like, you know, I didn't enjoy seeing what 50,000 downloads on Cyrix, or I didn't enjoy seeing people talk about Epiphany. You know, for me, it's not about, you know, it's not as much as it sounds like an ego thing. It's not. You know, I've had people come and tell me, I swear on my soul, this is true. I remember there was a time, you know, I had like a kid, literally a kid, like a child, come to me in DMs and be like, I really look up to you and I want to be like you when I grow up. When that kid said that, I cried. I cried. I was like, oh my God, I am making a difference in all these people's lives. You know, even in, and it's not like I'm doing some kind of life-saving act, but you know, people like my music, connect with it. Maybe someone playing my silly little mind helped them through a bad thing. You know, maybe some stressful shit was on their mind and they needed to get their mind off it and they played Cyrix and felt better. The fact that I can say that I maybe was even able to do that with anybody is something I'm very happy with.
Has the message that you feel like you've been spreading not only just helped the motivation of people, like, well, as you said, with that child that once came to you and wants to be like you, but it also made an impact to motivation of yourself doing the songs that As If We Know of You Now?
Yeah, absolutely. I would call myself someone who is quite self motivated. I push myself where I can.
Do you ever try to what's the best way that I can probably word this? I swear I can barely find a way to word it, bro. Hmm. What made you come up with the name of MattMoney? Was it because
Oh,
of the lyrics mod, or was it
oh
just something
no.
that you
The
your
name
own?
MattMoney comes from several years prior. This one has a kind of fun, cute but simple origin story. Uh, I swear to God, this is related. As a kid, and when I say as a kid, I suppose I mean around when I was maybe 11 or 12 or so. I was into like COD Zombies YouTube and MLG kind of memes, you know, old materialismo stuff. Uh, Now, I never really had a unified username across platforms, but for a long time, a very long time, my username on Twitch, swear to God, this is real. You can even go, if you know where to look, you'll be able to find old stuff with this too.
Y'all already know
My,
where to go.
yeah, my old username on Twitch was MLGMatt1337. Yeah, I know. And as amazingly openly cringe as that username was, there eventually came a day, I was about 14, 15, where I was like, okay, I was like just starting to use Discord at the time. And I was like, okay, I think it's high time I have one username across all my platforms. Because it was literally completely different across everything. And I sat on the Twitch change name screen for, you know, a couple minutes, just kind of mulling over. Because I knew I wanted to pick something that, you know, I wasn't just going to regret and change 5 months later. I wanted to try to pick with something I could stick with long term. And I knew that I wanted, sorry, it to have my first name in it. And well, my first name is Matt. Matthew, but Matt. And so I spent a little bit thinking about what rhymes with Matt or what alliterates, that is, starts with the same letter as Matt, and simply MattMoney. And I was like, ooh. Wrote it out, and then at the same time as well, I chose the kind of stylized spelling of Matt with the $sign afterwards as the preferred way to write it where able. And I've stuck with that name ever since.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have ourselves a true man we are interviewing this fine day.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is it is so great to see a guy that has made a moment in the community that can inspire others to get to the point there. Who knows where they may lead it to? And it is just something else. That is just really
Yeah.
that actually kind of did something to me in a way of motivation.
Well, shit. If I can be helpful, I can be helpful. And if you
No,
don't
really,
have
man.
if you don't have any more questions, I have something that I want to add to that end.
No, yeah, of course. If you want to add on, go ahead.
Yeah, it also has to do with part of the reason why I left the community. And I'll be honest, part of it was because I kept finding myself getting into petty Twitter drama over tweets of mine. Now, sometimes there were things I tweeted out that were just stupid and I shouldn't have tweeted out, and I deserved the backlash. You know, that happens. That does just happen. But there were a couple other times where, you know, I guess a bit of background. I do, you know, I seek to inspire people, right? And I seek to always look for the future, and I'm very self-motivating. I am definitely someone with a competitive drive. When I play to win. So, you know, whenever I write music, it's always one-upmanship. I'm always trying to outdo myself, to be better, more impressive. It's cooler, it's better. And I do try to keep some of that competitive energy. And I remember doing things like, say, making tier lists about musicians in my own personal opinion. I remember doing one in particular. I got jumped for it. I had everyone bearing down on my ass saying, like, what are you doing? You're being such an asshole. This guy's weird. And I was just like, yo, man, I was just wanted to post my opinion. Or like, you know, you'll probably find tweets, threads, etc. about me complaining about certain kinds of, you know, F&F songs. And whenever I've done stuff like that, it's only been because genuinely I want to see improvement. And I believe in a healthy amount of competition. But it doesn't seem like too many other people quite shared my stance on it. And so, you know, that wasn't just the sole reason I left, but it obviously was part of it. So I do, I guess I do want to apologize if there's anyone out there who's still like, MattMoney's an asshole for that. No, man, look, when I shit on people making like samey EXE songs, it's because I want to see different things, not because I hate people.
Well, variety content does seem to make things get better over time.
Yeah.
Actually, this next question about Axe is actually from a friend of mine regarding one of your FLPs.
Sure. I'll answer specifics about stuff.
Okay, so this one says, do you have the Fulmination FLP?
Oh, wait, I think I saw a person reply on Twitter to this the other day. I ended up getting sidetracked. Yeah, I still have the Fulmination FLP. I can get it. Yeah. It seems that Catbox links expire after, I don't know, a year. I don't know exactly, but yeah, I stored a lot of my FLPs on Catbox links, and it seems the links are expiring. Yeah, whoever this person is, tell them to like reply to my most recent tweet, or like come like message me on Discord, and I'll just give them the FLP. Like it's nothing.
Yeah, no problem.
And
Their name.
I'll say, and I'll go also on record to state that anybody out there, if any of you guys, anybody wants literally any of my FLPs, just ask. They're all available. Just tell me, and I will give them to you for free. I don't sell my FLPs. That's one thing that I disagree with a lot of people on. I don't sell FLPs. They're all free. Any of them that you want.
Well, her name is Crooked Brooke, but I like to call her Brooklyn. She is the one that came up with the question about it, and I'll let her know. I'll let her know after the interview.
Yeah.
And there's also another question that she also asked on. Do you know who the anonymous person is credited in Versus Electro? As in like the yellow looking Electro, not the one from Music Melody.
Yeah, no. I know that's the one you're speaking of. Let me go check the game. Which credit are you referring to? It's been a while since Electro.
Yeah, the thing is, she did not specify that either. I'm going to have to check with her myself.
I'm gonna go check on Game Banana to see if I could find it. Electro was a fun mod to work on.
Was it like a one shot?
No, there were a couple of. If by one shot you mean it's just one song, no, there were a couple. There were a couple people involved. That was a fun OST to do. It was definitely an experience trying to make my own boyfriend chromatic, but I think it came out sounding all right. The songs are okay, not terrible.
Did you think that you probably made a good point with that mod as much as you did with Cyrix? Like as if like it's made a pretty great pillar, like people for it to enjoy.
I suppose in that aspect, yes. Though I do feel like I pushed the envelope more with Cyrix. Part of the deal with the Cyrix mod, kind of a little bit of my philosophy was that especially really early on, right? You got to think this is like real early FNF mod community. Nothing's been done yet. Everybody was still under the guise of like the characters are fighting, right? Like you're singing against the other character. The idea with Cyrix was that no, these characters are singing together. That's why there's so many phrases where they harmonize or Cyrix does a rhythm line while Boyfriend takes a lead line. Even if I can say I didn't do a great job composing it compared to what I can do today. The idea was, hey, this guy brings in this rising talent off the street and is like, let's record some stuff and get an EP out. So I'd say with Cyrix, I maybe pushed the envelope more, but in regards to player enjoyment, it's equal on both ends. People liked both mods clearly.
Hmm.
So
if y'all are someone who is a new person in the FNF community, I recommend you check those out. Not only because of my friend Matt here, but he's also a really good person overall with
thank
great
you.
stuff on his mind.
So I'm looking on the Electro Game Banana page right now. There is, quote, some random ass dude credited for, quote, charting the main week outside of Parting Skies and the Astrophobia revision.
That must have been. I think that must be the person that Brooklyn is talking about.
If that's what the person they're referring to, genuinely, I don't know. I don't know. Quite literally, some anon off Funk G. No idea.
Hmm. Do you ever feel like that you want to add custom lyrics to your songs that you've been making in the past?
As in, historically, did I ever go, I want to add lyrics to my FNF songs?
Well, not just FNF songs, but like other songs too, like vocally singing.
Yeah, I have multiple releases with my vocals in them.
Hmm. I never really checked those out myself.
Yeah, I've already been releasing. I've been releasing independent on its own music since I started college. Even while I was still doing FNF stuff, I was occasionally releasing independent stuff. Not a lot though, as you can imagine. But yeah, I tend to. There's like one song you can hear me do a lot of clean singing on, and I'm doing a lot of pitch correction in my voice. Most of my vocals nowadays come down to screams. I'm a metalhead. I mean, look at me. I'm a dude who wears all black with long hair. Uh, so, in that regard, my vocals are everywhere. With regards to FNF, I definitely am not somebody who likes. When I say FNF songs with vocals, I mean taking an FNF song that doesn't have vocals and just slapping them on top with the same melody line. In terms of just having like lyrics and normal vocals as part of the song, to my knowledge, right now it's kind of a trendy thing, so maybe steer clear from it, but it can be done. The final main song from Furnace is a good example of this, and hell, that's my vocals in there too, where the entire end of the song is one long rapped verse.
Have you ever tried about collabing with other people with based on song lyric stuff?
Uh, Other people in FNF, not
Like,
particularly. Other
like,
people
like
in
any
general.
kind of community at all?
I mean, yeah, I consider myself pretty open to collaboration. I don't really tend to seek out other vocals too much, mostly because, again, for the metal music that I'm writing, I can usually do what. Put it this way, I'm able to do the vocals to make the songs that I like, but I do know, if, for instance, I was trying to write something that sounded, let's just say 115, the COD Zombies song. I'd probably go need to find a vocalist who could do those cleans because I definitely couldn't do them that well. I'm not opposed to the idea of a collaboration, but I really have not yet asked for much in that regard.
Would you want to collab with those type of people if you could?
If I felt it, for me it's less about do I want to collab with this person. The only person in that bucket is singularly just Camex, which if you're watching this video, hey Camex, because when week 2 was still in development, I floated the idea of us collabing, and he was down for it, and then we never did. So listen, if you're seeing this video, Camex, if that's still on the table, I would still love to do like a drum and bass song with you, man. I'm serious, but outside of like that one exception for that one particular reason, for me, it's less about I want to collab with this person and more about do I think working with this person will benefit the song. I have a very song first approach. It's all about communicating the idea behind the song. What's the motivating idea behind the track? Do I want it to feel like X emotion or Y emotion or evoke this image in your mind? Oh, hey, will getting this other person be helpful towards that end? Then do it. Will it make no difference? Probably don't.
That is honestly a really interesting story. Not gonna lie, Matt. I can tell from all this right now, you got something great ahead of you.
Thank you,
Believe
man.
me.
Thank you. I like to believe that.
You know, ladies and gentlemen, give some support for Matt Money and the future stuff that he might have once this interview is over. Like, trust me, you're gonna wanna. Have you ever thought about? Have you ever thought about like? I don't know how can I describe this. I'm trying my best, man.
It's okay. You can take it.
Because like, as this is like my third time doing this type of thing.
It's a okay. It's a okay. No pressure.
Have you ever felt that you had friends that you want to thank for helping you get to the journey that you've been recently going on?
Do I have people I want to thank? Let me think on that for a second. Because the most surface level answer is, of course, there's people I can thank for the come up, right? But one kind of unfortunate thing is it keeps being the case that a lot of the people whose shoulders I ended up standing on to get started with music or otherwise grown on have otherwise turned out to be less than stellar people, shall I say. So to thank them so flatly in an interview feels a little uncouth. But, at the same time, I want to make it clear that self-made is a myth. Can I point to times I put in the work and did things? Of fucking course I can. But, I absolutely had people helping me. If I can thank anybody in general, I'll thank our group, the little friend group that I've been alluding to this whole time, Hidden Palace, just my friends, Prem, Finks, Lynn. Thank you guys so much for picking me up as part of your group back in 2020 after all the Clone Hero shit. Thinger Thing, thank you for not only in general being a fairly real one, but being frankly a better musician than me at 17 years old and helping me get better at my genre weaknesses, particularly the harder bass heavy stuff. Who else can I thank?
You can thank as much people as you want.
Thank you, Duster, for giving me the opportunity to work on Doki originally. I know that I haven't been super active with TBD, and I know there was that other tweet I made about Flavor 8 the other week that you weren't a fan of. Sorry about that one, man. Who else? Thank you to literally everybody who's ever commissioned me. I mean, it's money. It helps me buy food and pay rent. Just simple things like that. I'll thank at the Astra, my friend DJ, for discovering the Cyrix graffiti I left on our college campus and pinging me on Twitter. That's how we met. And I'll thank Chumbot for being the other person in the FNF community who goes to the same college as me. Just shout out to you, man. I know we haven't talked in a while, but it was cool just getting to meet some people. And shit. There's other people I can thank for other things, but I don't know. I could ramble on and on and on.
Yo, Chumbot, stay goated, man. Chumbot, stay goated.
Chumbot, stay goated.
Yo, Chumbot, if you see this, man, just know that you have a good friend here still, and the fact that you have a great song for Holy Quintet.
I don't know how. I mean, I know how explicit am I allowed to get with some of these? Because I can definitely lay down a thank you right now. That's really funny.
You can lay down a thank you to as many people as you want.
Thank you to Skyla Aquatic Corpse for inadvertently getting me laid a couple of years back. Just saying, it's so funny. It never won't be funny to me, and no one else will get the context, and none of you guys are getting it either. But yeah, I don't know. I can give my thanks. There's, I don't know, for my musical come up, I spent a lot of time. If I want to focus on that, I spent a lot of time like dissecting FLPs. Like I'd always try to get FLPs because I would open them up and look through them and be like, whoa, this is how the song works. It's part of the reason I'm so like, don't sell your FLPs. I think it's dumb. Not. I want to make it clear for anybody who has a problem with this. I don't think it should be illegal or immoral. I just think it's a little dumb. Because you know what's cool? Teaching people shit and watching new musicians grow and learn from those more experienced than them. Just saying. But yeah, I guess that's all my thanks out of the way.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you are one of those people that Matt is thinking, y'all already know. Great friend. Great friend. Like, in all honesty. I mean, even though now as someone who, like, knows Matt now, he has honestly been one of a great person to meet. I mean, I wouldn't have probably met you if it wasn't for Saucy PX.
Yeah.
Having people join a server.
Yeah. Saucy invited me to that server. I mostly joined it because it's just like I wasn't in any public servers ever. Truth be told, I'm not super tight with Saucy or nothing. You know, it's not like we hate each other. I'm just not super tight with him. I mostly know Saucy because I know and I have known Lilac for some amount of time before then. Hell, I have a funny anecdote about her in a minute here, but yeah, I ended up just joining the server and like hopping in VCs because just I love my friends, but there's only so many times I can be in the same 3 VCs before I'm like, you know what? There's a bunch of people in here I don't know. Let's see what's going on and just see what they're up to. Meet some people.
Saucy, Lilac, stay goated. Okay, so I want to make sure I try to hit the interview off for like at least another 20 more minutes before we sign it off. And everything, if that's fine by you, or if you don't have anything else to do after this.
I'm free after this. There's no time rush here.
All right, perfect. Well, I have something to technically do within like probably like the next hour or so, but I'm gonna probably end it by like 4.
All right.
Yeah. Okay. So let me see if I still have any other questions from the audience. Pretty sure other than Brooklyn. Brooklyn, if you see this interview, no, you asked like some interesting question in a way. Some interesting question. When it came to meeting fans, did you still feel like that they were treating you like as if like a higher up?
Oh yeah, no. I mean, I've definitely had, you know, people be kind of scared around me, right? And on one hand, you know, I understand it, right? If I'm thinking like back during when Cyrix was really in its prime as a mod blowing up, right? You know, I'm big popular musician dude who made the songs behind popular mod. Ooh, but I always try to just tell people, hey man, at the end of the day, I'm just some dude sitting at my desk. Like, I'm not God, you know. I'm not Jesus. I'm not the Buddha. I'm not anybody of worth. I'm just a person. You know, I try to calm people down like that, I suppose, if that makes sense. But yeah, I've absolutely had people approach me and have that level of reverence or fear or that kind of attitude that you're alluding to. Yeah, I've gotten that before.
Did you think that people could treat you with the same respect as mutual friends without them thinking that you're a higher up?
Yeah, well, yeah, I tell people, like I said, I tell people, hey, you know, I'm not saying act like you're my best friend, but like, again, I'm just some dude behind a screen. You don't got to be scared of me. I don't bite. You know, I just want people to know that.
Did you ever feel like that you could sometimes be a good friend with those that want to like hang out with you in a way?
Sometimes yes, and sometimes no. I mean, some of my friends, hell, my current basically boyfriend, like this person I'm talking to, met because of like my public server that I made, and I really only started doubling down on that after things like Cyrix, and I started meeting people. So, you know, some people who came up to me and were just fans became my closest friends, you know, feelings, the whole 9 yards, the whole 9, not to just say, I'm just like, by the way, I'm not just like going around like fucking dating people who like my shit, but just like, you know, sometimes people who like my stuff meet me and we get to know each other really well. Sometimes not.
Well, sometimes I guess life does have its highs and lows.
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes, you know, meet people and I'm like, you know, you're a cool person. I want to talk to you. Sometimes I'm just like, you're a cool person, but just like, you know, I'm good. the complicated world of social dynamics.
Okay. Well, I must say. Oh, with the commissions that you've been doing, have they ever felt that they would have been a good motivation for like future projects that you still have planned?
As in, do my commissions motivate me for other projects?
Yeah, like with the money that you've been
With the
getting as a way of support from other people. Like, do you think that's also a way to help you boost your projects?
I never really think about it like that, but I suppose, yeah. I mean, having extra money to pay the bills helps, and when times are better, it's easier to be more creative. When I'm a stressed out mess, I might not be, as consistent with my writing, but hey, if I know I'm going to have enough money to get food, then yeah, it's plenty motivating. I guess it's motivating, but not directly motivating. It's about the knock-on effects.
Well, I must say, technically, out of all the time that we've had in this interview, like by now, you pretty much sure do have a way of doing things in reality. I mean, look at you. You got good friends, a great future, and who knows, dude?
I don't know. Yeah,
I
thank
mean,
you. First off, thank you. That's just even you saying that is a compliment. But yeah, I'm not gonna sit and be like, oh, that's not true. Yeah, I don't know, man. I've been, I won't lie, I kind of work my ass off.
hey, but if
And
anything, it's like I once remember. Sorry to interrupt.
oh, good.
But it's like what I always try to tell some people. Sometimes your efforts are always going to find a way to get you far, and who knows where it'll lead you.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I can tell every single person watching this that yeah, that's not to say every single effort you put in will return even equal amount of fruit, but first off, never underestimate the effect of time. Sometimes circumstances accumulate and eventually something goes well and you get a break. But just yeah, like if you're the kind of person that pushes themselves to always do new and bigger and better things and try to be a kind person, help people around you, all those kind of things, people recognize that. And it matters. Even if someone isn't going to just come with a wreath of flowers and say good job, you know, the positive effects accumulate over time, whatever those effects might be. I'm just trying to speak super broadly here because I personally believe this is a very widely broad applicable mindset.
Has the mindset that you've been having like keep you focused on what's to come ahead? I know most of these questions may relate to like the stuff that you answered, but
Hey,
these
it's
are
fine.
sometimes the best that I can come up with.
Hey, no, it's all good. I'll answer them. Does my mindset keep me focused? Yeah, my mindset does keep me focused. Absolutely. It does. If I can cite a really small specific example of just that of I mentioned before my general kind of competitiveness. There's this website that I mentioned Thing before. She introduced me to this website. It's called battleofthebits.com and it is a small is the phrase indie website a thing? Let's just use that. Indie website. It's literally hosted by a single guy in like Michigan. And it's this cute little competition website where people do these short 1 hour music battles. A competition opens up, you get the prompt, you got to write a song in an hour and submit it. I got into it last year, and the admittedly the hunt for the gold medals, right? I'm entering those competitions. Why? Because I'm trying to win them, and it keeps me motivated. And it has a nice benefit of I have a lot of kind of sketch material I can build on later when, oh man, I need a part for this song but don't have any ideas. Here, let me look through my Battle of the Bits entries.
Back when you first joined that band, what made you think that you can do within the band? Like, what stuff did you have in mind?
For the band that I recently joined.
Yes.
So we're called Placeholder. You can follow us on Instagram. What made me join Placeholder was the bassist and vocalist, Parker. Me and him kept bumping into each other at a series of basement shows around the Rochester, New York area where I go to college. And we kept seeing each other, so, just naturally you end up talking. And I remember even at the time, Parker was telling me about how he had tentative plans to kind of try starting a band maybe. And so later, when he came to me more fully, like, I want you to join placeholder as the rhythm guitarist, and then later as the sole and only guitarist, as the other guy was kicked out afterwards. It was, on one hand, Parker needed a guitarist, and I'm a guitarist, and on the other, I've always wanted to be in a metal band. I've always wanted to do that. Again, I mentioned before, I've always wanted to be able to do a cool riff or rip out a cool solo in front of a crowd. So that made me join it. It's just something I simply wanted to do.
Nice work. Nice work. I bet you that you guys are going to go big. Yo, MattMoney's band. Y'all have my support.
Thank you. Thank you.
Trust me. I mean, who knows? Maybe you guys could go for the big leagues one day.
That's the dream, ain't it?
Amen to that one, brother. Amen to that one. What made you want to join that friend's band back before you started it? Was it the motivation? Was it the purpose of being in one?
Yeah, it was me seeking to be in one. And remember, I mentioned that I'm in my 4th year. Like, I only joined this band literally a few months ago. Like, with this spring semester starting is when I joined, when this whole started becoming a thing. Being a part of a metal band in college is just sort of a bucket list level item for me, and it has been for quite some time. And, well, I'm in my 4th year out of 5. That time is running out. So when I saw my opportunity, I took it, because I am that kind of person. If I see an opportunity, I'll grab it, because, time only goes in one direction, and it's here right now. So let's grab onto it, grab the bull by the horns, and see what we can do.
Wow. My goodness, dude.
Yeah,
Wow.
I was already playing guitar too. It wasn't like I learned guitar to join this band. I was already a guitarist. So, but yeah, I wanted to play in a band and play in a metal band, and Parker was a friend of mine who just happened to need a guitarist for a metal band. So it all worked out.
Well done, my friend. You really got a knack for what's going to be going on.
I try to be attentive.
Amen. Being attentive is like probably one of the greatest things that can probably happen to a person.
Oh yeah.
Because you're finding yourself within a passion of something good in life, and never know. Okay. Well, with the soon to be 10 minutes that we have left in this shenanigan, before I say the next question, I must say, Matt, it's being a true great honor to interview my friend.
Thank you.
Really, really. You've been honestly chill, great, and all that. Not to glaze right now.
I'm not LeBron. Sigh. All right. Yeah. No. I don't mind answering questions. I like answering questions. I don't know. Just state my piece, and I'm happy doing that.
Yeah, and I do want to try asking a side question right after this video.
Sure.
Like just right after the video, if you don't mind, of course.
I don't mind.
Perfect. Okay, so the next question: what was your plan? Well, what was your band's plan whenever you guys started playing songs, or like more or less, how do you make your songs?
Okay, well, now this is sort of two different questions. So do you want to know how Placeholder writes their songs, or how I write my songs, or?
Well, I didn't mean to put a confusion thing in there.
Yeah.
Placeholder.
Okay. Honestly, from what I can really tell, it is a collaborative effort. It isn't like one person writes the songs and everybody else does it. Obviously, given that I was the, latest addition to the band, it ended up being a lot of I had to learn, Parker's guitar riffs that he had written for these songs, of which he normally just plays the bass. But, I also, I told him, I was like, yeah, Parker, I have a lot of experience as a musician. He was like, yeah, give me your feedback. It one person starts with an idea and the other person modifies it, and it kind of turns into a back and forth, like hot potato, but it's hot riff instead. I mean, I can even cite a really specific example from the show that we played. One of the songs we wrote is called Shreds. And, I had a lot to say on the song when I was first learning it because I felt like in a lot of ways it was a very generic, very Metallica-esque. Just it was just too generic. It was a bunch of ideas I felt like were already done, but I brought in some fresh ideas for things like transitioning into the chorus, a pre-chorus that's just more interesting, and a breakdown, and that was fun because Parker started with this breakdown idea, but I was like, it sounds too much like Domination by Pantera, and I was like, what about this? And then the drummer was like, okay, yeah, I like that. Let's do this rhythm, and it's we all chip in to write. Obviously, we all specialize in writing our own parts, but everybody seemingly brings their ideas to the table, and we just kind of mull through them, see what works.
How much do you think that you've been loving to be in the band? Like, have you been? Do you want to think about doing it throughout life as you go on?
Placeholder is probably dying once all of us graduate from college, but I would definitely not be opposed to continuing the band after college and just doing band stuff in general. I'm going to school all this college. I'm not going to school for an arts degree. I'm going for an engineering degree. I go to a tech school. My kind of dream, sort of, is I can hold some kind of stable engineering job that pays well because I do have a genuine interest in that. Let me make it clear. I don't hate my line of study. I would not be in it if I hated it. But my hope is that I can do something like work a relatively normal-ish 9 to 5 with time off during the week, and then go hang out with my boys and we go play in bars and basements or wherever else we're wanted. That's kind of the dream. So I would love to continue to do placeholder stuff after college if I'm able. Probably won't be because of just practicality concerns. I'm the oldest member of the band, so I'm graduating first. Hell, me and Parker already agreed that next year I am going to find basically a protege to join on as a second guitarist, probably someone who's better at lead, but someone I can teach my rhythm parts so that when I graduate, they can take my spot.
When you mentioned about the band soon to retire, did you guys ever think like once you separate to make your own bands like with other people?
Yeah, when I was before Parker and before Placeholder, I definitely was thinking I would try to start my own. I tried joining some. The first band I joined ended up being with a bunch of like 30 something, 40 something year olds. So it didn't last because I was like, wow, okay, very big mismatch here. I am 20, now 21. Uh, so after that, I was like, okay, maybe I will just start my own. And even though I did end up joining Placeholder, if after college, Placeholder's gone and I'm off to start my own, I have long had a band idea. It would probably write, metal music similar to the kind of stuff I put out solo. But I know what kind of name. I know the name I would pick for the band. I've long known that. Hell, I even in my head have the logo designed already.
Hmm. Well done, Matt. Did you have any other people that you want to thank? Like I know we've been over this already, but
Yeah,
like
and anyone
give
else
an
I want to
exact
thank?
list of people. Like make people like AG covers, Saucy, Lilac, all that stuff.
I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think.
Like
I don't know. I feel ungrateful because I'm like, no, I don't have anything to thank for. No, it's not to say I don't like they're not my friends or et cetera, et cetera. I'm trying to just think like the people again, like I stated before, the people who were most really instrumental in my come up, both just learning music and then eventually later with FNF, turned out to not be the greatest. So thanking them is kind of hard, despite the fact that I do even in my own head consciously acknowledge their contributions and do thank them to that extent. But it's a difference between acknowledging in myself the people who helped me come up and then saying it in an interview. But anybody else, I could just, I don't know. The thing is that as far as I see it with FNF, I'm some relic from a bygone era, I'm some old head from an era of the modding community that's already gone past. And anybody who I have to thank is probably going to be similarly out of date or otherwise inconsequential, maybe is the correct word. Not quite sure. I could think of specific things like thanks to 4_ for picking up and finishing the art for the Ryuga mod when that was in development after V disappeared off the face of the planet. Thank you. I think their name was like Mediterra or something like that for covering the Ryuga mod in a What's the Longest FNF song video. And it's the thing that got the mod literally any attention at all. I remember that. But it's all like that. Very specific individual things.
Well, oh, wow. That's something. Okay, this next one is actually relating AG covers. back when on one of his streams that he did a preview thing of the 3-minute CAG song, well, now known as Morris Noctis.
Yeah.
What made you want to join the mod team?
He commissioned me.
Damn. Yeah, I should have known that.
I like money.
Should have known that.
But to give you a little to give you a little more of an answer than just money, because obviously money was the reason I just took the comm, right? It's a commission. You get paid. That's how they work. But just I guess I felt the concept was, interesting enough. Now, if you give me a sec, I can give you a much more specific and much better answer by going into me and AG's DMs right now.
Well, I mean, I'm not sure if AG want to have much of the thing.
No. I'm not gonna like leak anything. I'm just seeing what the early stages of the commission was like.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just as long as we try to keep the surprise for when the mod comes out.
Yeah. AG approached me with the concept, sent some reference tracks, and part of it was, first off, that the song is long. Now, I am drawn to do commissions where the songs are more like 5-ish minutes long, not just because they're longer and they pay more, which they do, but also because when a song is only 2 minutes long, there's not really a lot of time to explore different compositional ideas and play with the structure and really stretch my legs. Most songs I write tend to be at that 4-5 minute mark, 3 at the least. So getting to do a longer song was nice. And also, I've started with a lot of my commissions. I will say, because of songs like Markov, I get a lot of commissions of people coming to me basically asking me to make them some dark, dramatic FNF song for their mod. And the reference tracks almost always include Markov, And I have started, and while I don't refuse those commissions, I do sit down with people when they ask for that, and I tell them, okay, listen, if you're commissioning me, you're commissioning my semi-professional opinion, and my semi-professional opinion is that this idea is overdone as all hell, and you should give me some maneuvering room to kind of write the song that I want to write. Because I'm a person who believes that if you commission an experienced musician, you should be willing to cede a little bit of control to them. They might deviate slightly from the picture you had in your mind, but they can probably deliver you something that is more unique than railroading them really hard. And AG was willing to give me the breathing room and let me cook. And AG showed a snippet of it. How much was shown of the song?
If I remember, maybe like 3 minutes.
Okay, so most of it. So yeah, when writing it, I went for like a non-4/4 time signature, and I wrote it in Hungarian minor, a fairly non-standard key. And I tried to choose a bunch of elements that I thought really gave the song its own unique identity, and AG was willing to let me do that, so I stuck with it. So, despite the fact, I took the commission for money, because it's a commission, and I like to eat, he was a good commissioner. And I had a lot of fun working on the song, and he clearly enjoyed what I was able to produce, so, yeah.
Fair. Now, back when you mentioned Markov, do you ever think just to give the song a remaster for fun, or do you just want to still leave it as is?
Same kind of answer as I gave for the Cyrix remasters, although there's even less I'd really bother changing with Markov. It would mostly be mixing changes. Most of my own criticisms toward myself about Markov have to do with the fact that it's a little bit tropey as an FNF song. It's got the descending chord progression thing going on, and way too many 5 chords, and the you gotta have the breakdown section where it goes dun 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 dun, dun, dun. Typically it descends whenever I complain about it. Despite the fact that I do sometimes bitch about it. The other day I did re-listen to it and realize I'm a little too harsh on it, and I don't know. Markov is a song that on one hand haunts me because people like it. People commission me. They're like, I want you to basically make me a new Markov. But it's obviously a good song. Clearly, people like it, and it's still pretty good even in the semi-flawed state that it's in. You know, I definitely wish I could have mixed it better. I could definitely mix it way harder and punchier nowadays if I did it. I'd also swap the Odin 2 fake guitar for just my actual guitar. But it's definitely, I have had thoughts about remastering, but I did not act on them.
Well, that goes your answer for y'all that are wanting to get a Markov remaster.
Okay. Well,
Like,
no. All
that's
right.
all I'm going to say about it.
I am willing to offer a bit of a compromise for the crowd here because I really don't want to just do Markov remastered, but I'm willing to do this. So after week 2, Cyrix week 2 completely flopped, and week 3 tried to start development, and it eventually just died out, and I just canned it because I was like, okay, screw this. This mod's not getting off the ground. I repurposed the core of the week 3 songs I had composed into songs for Clone Hero instead, and I am pretty willing to do that for Markov. So if a bunch of people would like to see that, yeah, I'm totally willing to do that. But as for a Markov remaster where you can just slap it into, you know, bad ending again, no, that's not happening.
Yeah. I honestly feel that it would have made much more sense. Why? Because what's the point if the original song is good as is?
Yeah, the song simply does not need it.
Okay. And Chad, y'all already know what you gonna have once Matt puts up his stuff for Clone Hero.
Yeah. I'll do it. I'll do it if I see a bunch of demand for it. I don't know if you want to let your demand be known, like leave replies on my Twitter or something, somewhere I'm sure to see.
Or here's a challenge. Let's say that we do this challenge. Everyone watching this right now, if y'all can like give Matt some more love for overall what he's done, and help me when it comes to, let's say, getting to grow more and
I didn't mean to
expand.
send you that. That is meant.
I'm just
I'm trying to send that to one of my like classmates who's asking for it.
That was honestly like I was like, what the hell was that? Like that was totally random.
Wow.
Okay, but I was trying to say, if you guys want to get him or anything, how about we try this? Along with what Matt said for what he'll try to do, if you guys can get this to like 1K and at least try to get me to like 800 subs, not to sound like I'm begging, I will let Matt know about it and he'll see what he can try to do for y'all. If y'all can try to do that, then maybe who knows what'll happen. What say you, Matt?
Sounds fine to me.
All right, perfect. Well, that leaves me with the time that I have as of now. Everyone, if you all enjoyed this interview with MattMoney, please make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, of course. Matt, it was a real good pleasure interviewing you, and really hope we can interact more.
Thank you. I don't know. Chill and plug time. Check out the Plastic Instruments Community YouTube channel for the definitive news source for Clone Hero community news. And I guess I'll end this the way I end my segment off on all of those videos. Also, yeah, if you guys really like hearing my damn voice, you'll hear me at the start of every single one of those videos.
Real.
And if that's the case, this is MattMoney signing off.
Take care, everybody. Take care.